You've poured your entire life, your sweat, your tears, your heart and your soul into raising your children. You've sacrificed, you've loved, you've guided them, and now you're sitting there feeling invisible, unheard, and frankly, disrespected. It's a pain that cuts deeper than just about anything else, isn't it? When the very people you brought into this world treat you like you're an inconvenience, a burden, or just plain old-fashioned. It's a quiet heartbreak that happens behind closed doors, and it's time we brought it out into the light. Let me tell you something straight up, that is not okay. You are not a doormat. You are the architect of your family, the elder, the one with wisdom etched into your very being. Feeling disrespected by your own children isn't just a sign of the times or something you have to just put up with. That's a myth, and we're going to bust it right now. The dynamic in your family feels broken, and you're wondering if it's too late to fix it. I'm here to tell you, it is absolutely not too late. The power to change this situation is not in their hands, it's in yours. So, are you ready to stop feeling sorry for yourself and start doing something about it? Because in this video, I'm not going to give you a bunch of fluffy, feel-good nonsense. I'm going to give you 6 powerful, practical, no excuses strategies to reclaim your dignity and command the respect you have earned and deserve. This is your wake-up call. It's time to stop being a victim of your family's dynamic and start being the leader of it once again. Pay attention, because class is in session. Let's get down to brass tacks with rule number 1, and it's a big one. You have to set clear, firm boundaries. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Lauren, they're my kids. I don't want to cause a fight or make them angry. Well, let me ask you this. How's that working out for you so far? Avoiding conflict has gotten you exactly where you are right now, feeling walked all over. A boundary isn't a wall you build to keep people out. It's a fence you build to define your property. It tells people, this is my space, this is how I expect to be treated, and this is where you stop. It's not about being mean, it's about being clear. You have got to define the rules of engagement. This means you stop accepting last-minute cancellations for family dinners without a real reason. You stop tolerating sarcastic comments or dismissive tones when you speak. You have to calmly, but without apology, state what is and is not acceptable. You might say something like, when you raise your voice at me, I feel disrespected, and I'm not going to continue this conversation until we can both speak calmly. Or, I love seeing you, but I need you to honor the plans we make. If you can't make it, I need more than an hour's notice. This isn't a negotiation. It's a declaration of your own self-worth. The first few times you do this, you're going to get pushback. Count on it. Your kids are used to the old dynamic, and you're changing the rules of the game. They might get angry, they might try to guilt you, they might call you unreasonable. You have to stand your ground. This isn't about winning an argument. It's about teaching them a new way to interact with you. You are teaching them that your time, your feelings, and your presence have value. By setting these boundaries, you're not just demanding respect, you're showing them what self-respect looks like. All right, strategy number 2 is about you, not them. You have to lead by example. Think about it. A thermometer just reflects the temperature in the room. If the room is hot and angry, it just reads hot and angry. But a thermostat sets the temperature. You need to be the thermostat in your family. If you want respect, you have to give respect. If you want calm communication, you have to model calm communication. This holds true even when, and especially when, it's the hardest thing to do. When they're being disrespectful, it's easy to get sucked into the drama and fire back with your own hurtful words. But what does that accomplish? It just proves their distorted view of you and escalates the conflict. You have to rise above it. When they are rude, you remain polite. When they are yelling, you speak in a measured tone. This isn't about being passive, it's about being powerful. It's a strategic choice to control your own behavior, which is the only behavior you truly can control. You're showing them, through your actions, what mature, respectful interaction looks like. You're demonstrating that you won't be dragged down into the mud with them. This also means respecting their lives and their choices, even if you don't agree with them. Stop giving unsolicited advice. Stop criticizing their parenting, their partner, or their career choices. You can have your own opinion, but you don't have to broadcast it 24/7. When you treat them like capable adults, you create an environment where they are more likely to treat you like a wise elder instead of a nagging parent. By modeling the very respect you crave, You change the entire emotional climate of your relationship. You set the temperature. You can't fix a problem if you don't talk about it. It's that simple. But so many of you are holding all this hurt and resentment inside, expecting your kids to be mind readers. They're not. They're wrapped up in their own lives, their own jobs, their own kids. You have to use your words. Strategy number 3 is all about open, honest, and calm communication. The antidote to all that anger and misunderstanding is information. You have to tell them how their actions are making you feel. But the way you do it is critical. You can't come at them with accusations and a long list of all their past wrongdoings. That's a losing strategy. It'll put them on the defensive, and the conversation will be over before it even starts. You have to use I statements. It's not, "You never call me, you're so thoughtless." It's, "I feel lonely and forgotten when weeks go by and I don't hear from you." It's not, "You're always so rude to me." It's, "When you interrupt me, it makes me feel like my opinion doesn't matter." See the difference? One is an attack, the other is an expression of your own feelings. It's hard to argue with how someone feels. Choose the right time and place for this conversation. Don't do it in the middle of a holiday dinner or when they're rushing out the door. Ask them, "Is now a good time to talk about something that's been on my mind?" This shows respect for their time and sets a serious, intentional tone. Be prepared to listen too. This isn't a monologue. Ask them for their perspective. Maybe there's something going on with them that you don't know about. Opening these lines of communication is like opening a window in a stuffy room. It lets the bad air out and the fresh air in, creating a space where respect can finally begin to grow again. Let's talk about the glue that holds all of this together: consistency. You can set the best boundaries in the world and have one great open conversation. But if you go right back to your old ways the next week, you've accomplished absolutely nothing. In fact, you've made it worse. You've taught your children that your words don't mean anything, that your new rules are just a temporary phase they can wait out. You get what you tolerate, and if you tolerate inconsistency from yourself, you will get disrespect from them every single time. Consistency is how you build trust and credibility. When you say you're going to end a phone call if they start yelling, you have to do it. Every time. Not just when you're feeling strong. When you say you need a week's notice for a visit and they show up at your door unannounced, you have to gently say, "It's so good to see you, but as we discussed, this doesn't work for me right now. Let's schedule a time for next week." That's going to be hard. It's going to feel unnatural and maybe even cruel in the moment. But you're playing the long game here. You're rewiring a relationship that's been short-circuiting for years. Your actions must always back up your words. This consistency creates predictability, and predictability creates a sense of safety and respect. Your children will begin to understand that the new rules are the real rules. They'll learn that mum and dad mean what they say. It won't happen overnight. They will test you. They will push those boundaries to see if they're real. And every time you hold firm, you're laying another brick in the foundation of a new, respectful relationship. Don't waver. Be a rock. Consistency is your superpower in this fight. Now, this next one might sound a little soft to some of you, but don't you dare underestimate its power. You have to show empathy. I'm not saying you have to agree with them or excuse their bad behavior. Empathy is not endorsement. Empathy is simply the willingness to try and understand the world from their perspective. You can't change a dynamic if you don't acknowledge all the pieces of it, and that includes their feelings and their pressures. Remember, your adult children are not your little kids anymore. They are juggling careers, mortgages, their own children, and a world of stress that you might not fully comprehend. Sometimes, what you perceive as disrespect is actually just a symptom of their own overwhelming stress, exhaustion, or personal struggles. Before you react, try to listen. I mean, really listen. Not just waiting for your turn to talk, but listening to understand. Ask questions. It sounds like you're having a really tough week at work. Tell me about it. Or, you seem really stressed out lately. Is everything okay? When you validate their feelings, you diffuse their defensiveness. Acknowledging their reality doesn't mean you abandon your own. It's not a zero-sum game. You can say, "I understand that you're exhausted from dealing with the kids all day, and I get that. At the same time, when you speak to me in that sharp tone, it hurts my feelings." This and is powerful. It allows both realities to exist at the same time. It shows them that you see them as a whole person, not just as your child who is failing to meet your needs. When you give them the empathy you also want to receive, you create a bridge, not a battlefield. And respect can only walk across a bridge. All right, let's be honest. Sometimes you can do everything right. You can set boundaries, lead by example, communicate openly, be consistent, and show empathy, and the situation still doesn't get better. Sometimes the hole is just too deep, and your own shovel isn't enough to get you out. That's when you need to enact strategy number 6, get some backup. There is no shame, let me repeat that. Zero shame in admitting that you need help. In fact, it's one of the strongest, smartest things you can do. If you're in a hole, the first rule is to stop digging. This support can come in a few different forms. It might mean suggesting family counseling. You could approach your child and say, "I love you, and our relationship is incredibly important to me. It feels like we're stuck in a bad pattern, and I'm not sure how to fix it on my own. Would you be willing to talk to a professional with me so we can learn how to communicate better?" They might say no, and you have to be prepared for that. But you've planted a seed. You've shown how seriously you're taking this. Don't present it as you need therapy, but as we need help improving our relationship. If they're not willing to go, then you go for yourself. A good therapist or counselor can give you tools, coping mechanisms, and a strategy tailored to your specific situation. They can help you stay strong and consistent when you feel like giving up. You can also look for support groups either online or in your community for parents of adult children. Just knowing you're not alone, hearing other people's stories, and sharing your own can be incredibly empowering. Remember, asking for help isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you value your own well-being and your family's future enough to bring in an expert. So, there you have it. 6 strategies that can fundamentally change the dynamic in your family. Now, listening to this video is easy. The hard part starts now. It's the work you have to do when you turn this screen off. I want you to understand something deep in your bones. It is never, ever too late to repair a relationship and rebuild respect. It doesn't matter if this has been going on for 5 years or 25 years. Change is always possible, but it has to start with you. You can't wait for your children to have an epiphany and suddenly start treating you better. You have to be the catalyst. I'm challenging you today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, pick one thing from this video, just one. Maybe it's deciding on one clear boundary you're going to set. Maybe it's planning how you'll have that first I statement conversation. Take that first small concrete step, write it down, commit to it. That first step is the most powerful one because it's a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer willing to settle for a relationship that leaves you feeling hurt and devalued. It's a step toward reclaiming your peace of mind. Listen to me. You have lived a life of value. You have wisdom, you have experience, and you have love to give. You are not an afterthought. You are the foundation. You deserve to be treated with dignity, with honor, and with respect. Don't you ever forget that. You have the strength to make this change. You have our support right here. Now go out there and get what you deserve.